Newman. Ladies and gentlemen, Buffalo Wild Wings Mall of America. Welcome back to the final hour of the Friday Football Feast. Those of you new to the equation, that's Eric Nordquist. He's the producer and co-host of today's Friday Football Feast. I'm Paul Allen. We got Sam, the man, guiding the fan as the engineer here at Buffalo Wild Wings Mall of America. And we'd like a witness and preferably a raucous round of applause if you can hear us quite well, because it's packed in here and it is a little loud, for Parker Fox, formerly with the Golden Gophers basketball team, but working as an analyst and entertainer for several of the KFAN shows. So we welcome at Parker Fox 24 via X with us. Hey, Parker Fox, ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause. You rooted for him when he was power forward feast, and now it's a Black Friday feast. And here's Pete Fox. If anybody here's on X, follow him at Parker Fox 24, at Parker Fox 24. Good morning. And how was the parking?
Good morning. I got lucky. I snuck in, had somebody leaving. I had the courtesy Minnesota. Hey, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
I want my spot. So
wow,
good way to start the morning. That's for sure.
Yeah. Have you ever considered on a day like this, Black Friday, at a place like Mall of America, finding a primo parking spot and sitting there and counting how many people ask you if you're leaving?
Oh, my goodness. It'd be all day. It would be all day long. I thought there was a spot up front. It ended up being a handicap spot. I was like, oh, I'm good. We're going to go right in. I'm going to get the first spot. I'm going to get in and out.
You got the neck brace in the back seat?
The whole deal, man. The whole deal.
Speaking of handicapped or handicapping, how do you handicap Sunday at Seattle? Vikings 10.5-point underdogs. What excites you about Sunday at Seattle, beloved P. Fox?
I think it's for me. It's what's going to happen right away at the quarterback position. Obviously, we probably talked enough about that to know that
we haven't talked a ton about it. A,
really?
we had Thursday off. B, it's not conclusive.
Totally. Yeah.
Rosemer will play.
Mm-hmm.
I'd bet it that way.
Yeah.
We should find out today with the injury report.
Is that when it comes out today?
The final injury report. Do any sneaky elevations and stuff like that needs to be by like 3 o'clock tomorrow.
Okay.
But Brosmer is active as it is.
Mm-hmm.
Wolford, I believe he's practice squad guy, so they would probably need to move him up on Saturday or maybe today. But, I think what we'll hear today is that Max Brosmer will be quarterback for the Vikings this weekend.
Yeah, and if that happens, I think he's a guy that's ready. I think if you ask PJ Fleck, if you ask his coaches in the past, he's truly a student of the game. And I think I saw that just from my time being with him at the same university for 6-7 months, something like that. So just being around him and seeing the way he operates, truly a true professional, wanted the best for his teammates. And I thought when the Vikings went and got him as a free agent after the draft, I was like, this is a perfect guy to get. It's a perfect guy you want in your quarterback room. He's not a kind of guy that's going to be stepping on toes. He's a team guy. He wants to put the team first. And I thought it would be a perfect person for JJ to have as a backup, right? And now you're in a circumstance where there's an injury, there's a concussion, the whole bit, and you got to step up and you got to be ready to play. And I think you have to be able to throw the football and you have to be able to go out there and put a good product on the field. And from what we've seen, Minnesota fans at Minnesota, he has the potential to do that.
Well said.
In your playing career, were there ever times and seasons where you kind of had to pick yourself up a little bit more? I mean, you think about, carrot or light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak, where there was a lot more internal motivation versus potential accolades or postseason play. What's that like when it's just the dog days, but you got to go out there and prop up your boys?
Yeah, I think, basketball is different than football in terms of a 6-month, type of season versus a shorter season. But the NFL it's a long season. You get the preseason games, you got your bye week, if you're playing in the playoffs, you're looking about 25 weeks of football. So that's a long time. So you get into those dog days. I always thought the dog days would be kind of January-ish time for basketball. So you got to find ways, and you got to find your why. I think that's one thing. That's a great thing in life as well, but I think especially in sports is.
I like that.
Why are you going out there to play? If it's for someone else, if it's not about your true passion for the sport, your true desire to be out there on the field, you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle to kind of find your image. So I think that's something where I always encourage young athletes to find your why. Truly love what you're doing, and if you're able to do that, then you're able to go out there and just go have fun with it.
Well, see, it's very interesting you said that, because the way I put it, and I spent about 5 to 10 minutes talking about it in the open of the show, and I certainly am in no way saying from 4-7 that there will be Minnesota Vikings that don't try.
Yeah.
Okay, but this is, in the Kevin O'Connell run, we've had one non-playoff year, 2023, but they had a decent chip chair chance to get there with like 2 or 3 weeks left, maybe even a little later. This is virtually a non-playoff chance with 3 major holidays in front of you: Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's Day.
Totally.
So this is infrequent. Okay, this is in all my years of calling games for them. I didn't look back at it. Maybe 2010, when Favre decided to play, where you got a squad and you're like, you think it's going to go this way, but then it doesn't.
Yeah.
That's just with 6 games in front of them. It's human nature gets to win too. Whether your will fights it or your will succumbs to it. And I like the way you put it there with the what's your why.
Yeah.
Because the why is not why are you here. We know you love it.
Yeah.
We know God gifted you a way to get you here, and you've capitalized on it.
That's right.
But with the next 6 for veterans with fat bank accounts that they know they're a month and a half. And the thing about NFL players is they get all their money during the season. Okay, so all of the money is from the first game to the last game.
That's right.
Unless there are bonuses paid in like March and things like that. So, I mean, these massive checks are hitting twice a month, and they have nothing to do. They have no time to do anything because of meetings, practice, games, and that rehab and that whole thing.
Right.
So the why here for me is, why should you be your brother's keeper? Why should you've made a ton of cash over X amount of years.
That's right.
Levi Drake Rodriguez hasn't.
Yeah.
Jalen Redmond, his why shows up every single week.
Totally.
His who, what, where, when, and why. And he's sitting on the biggest, a life-changing deal for him.
Totally.
Well, he needs help.
Yeah.
By, football's the ultimate team game, kind of like hockey. So therefore, you need those around you to do it the right way for you to shine. So that's just one example there, but Brosmer would be a high-end example. What's your why? What's your why into a game like this from 4-7 with no dangling carrot, like Nordo said? That has to be established. What's your why, man?
Yeah, I agree. And I look at guys like Harrison Smith, not that I'm sitting here giving Harrison Smith advice, but a guy that could probably retire. You're in that locker room more. You know if he's going to be done next year or if he's going to play more football. Nonetheless, there's not a whole lot of football left in his career. He's towards the back end of his career. And I'm sitting here now where it's just like I watch these college basketball games and what I would do to just go practice one more time or to be a part of that locker room. And that can be your why as well, because you truly love the environment that you're a part of. You don't remember the games, right? You remember the moments with your teams and all that kind of stuff. So I think that's also a why, especially for some of the older guys kind of on the back half of their career is you don't get these moments forever. And I think if you were to ask a lot of former Vikings who you hang around with, you just had Kevin Williams on, he would pay a lot of money to go be in that locker room one more time, hang out with the guys, practice, that whole kind of stuff. So I think that's a part of it as well. That's
Parker Fox. Nordo's here, and I'm Paul Allen, Buffalo Wild Wings Mall of America. We're going to pause and mix up the conversation with at Parker Fox 24 via Twitter when 9 to noon continues after this. All right, so the Red Hot Minnesota Wild take on the Red Hotter Colorado Avalanche today, 2:30, FM 100.3, KFAN. That's a nice one. Yeah. The Wild, victorious 6 consecutive. All the Avs have done is win 10 consecutive games and shut out teams 3 consecutive. This is an acid test for class today for the Minnesota Wild. And the reason I say it, they're at home, and the Avalanche are basically 2-1 favorites here. Wow. So quite nicely, but holy cow, we know what we've seen and what's happening with this goalie tandem for Coach Hines, and Boldy came up big again the other game, comes up big every game. His best of all the season. You have Kaprizov. You got Nico Sturm in the mix now for a couple of games, so he has his proverbial sea legs under him, and Jared Spurgeon's playing incredibly well. This Really nice game today at 2:30. You can listen to it on FM 100.3 KFAN. Then Finchie's Bunch takes on Shamrock Immortality tomorrow. It's the Boston Celtics in town to take on the Minnesota Timberwolves. That one's at like 3 or 4 o'clock, something like that. The Timberwolves have lost 3 consecutive. Most recently, they lost to Oklahoma City, a 1-loss operation the night before Thanksgiving. In the business, we call it 2 nights ago. They played OKC tough. But overall, what'd you think of the game?
Yeah, fun game, playoff type of game. You and I talk about it all the time. PA is if you want to get to the finals, you have to find a way to beat this Oklahoma City team, and the way that they're set up right now, and the way that they're rolling. I think 18-1 now, 19-1, something like that.
Yeah,
unbelievable record, and they're playing high level basketball. And Shea is playing the best of his ability. And we mentioned it kind of off the air. Chet Holmgren didn't play his best game, but hits a big 3 down the stretch. You can go inside with Hartenstein. You can defend with Lou Dort. They just have all the pieces. But in terms of that game, just a fun game. We saw a great Anthony Edwards. I think if Julius Randle was able to play a little bit better, you could possibly win that one. But that's just one where you're on the road. If you can find a way to win it, great. If you can't, you got to regroup. And now you got Boston coming into town here at 4 o'clock to try to get a win.
Doesn't it feel effortless for them at times right now? I mean, the way
they don't break a sweat.
The way that you laid it out, I mean, just kind of a sleepy 35 points for a Shea.
Yeah.
And you mentioned Holmgren, up and down game for him, but then when you need a big triple, he's got it for you. And it's just the way we're breaking this down, we're going to talk about how Terrence Shannon Jr. did his thing. We're going to talk, you mentioned Julius, et cetera. Ant is really having to carry, just a mountainous load on the offensive side for this team.
Yeah.
It's just so effortless for the defending champs where everything has to go right for us. Just to have a coin flip maybe of finding your way into the winner's circle, it feels lopsided. You can talk about a muddy West, but in the end it just feels like they're rolling so smoothly right now that, just what can you do is my mindset with them.
And they don't even have their second best player.
Yeah.
And J-Dub, he's not playing. And I think he's cleared for some team activities this week. I think we're going to see him on the court very soon.
Did you see by him missing 18 games what it cost him?
No.
Well, he no longer, he's eligible for new money coming up.
Yeah.
But because he's missed 18 games, at least, before,
no way.
He's not eligible for the max, the super max bid or whatever it is. And his response was, cool. I've made a lot. I'm going to make more.
Yeah.
This squad's good.
Talk about a guy that gets it, right?
Fortifying the village matters around here.
Yeah.
I'm like, go ahead, J-Dub. Fantastic.
That's the kind of guys you want on your roster.
It cost him $47 million missing 18 games.
Crazy.
Potentially $47 million, but in fairness, that's before taxes.
That's true. Oklahoma tax, big time down there. No, that's the guys you want, right? Like if you're a GM, if you're a head coach, these are the kind of guys you want on your roster. And shoot, that may save them the chance of keeping him as a Thunder player for a long time in his career.
They're not only trying to set the NBA record for single season wins.
Yeah.
This group is so ruthlessly cold-blooded.
Yeah.
They're trying to win 10 titles in a row. I'm not kidding you. They privately, I'm guessing, they talk in a way
totally.
This is child's play. And if we can all do it the right way and recognize that this is a lot of money, and we're not going to get in that shoe size contest with, I don't know, let's use Karl Anthony Towns as an example. Hey, Chet, Isaiah. Yeah, we know that you're every bit as good as Cat, if not better, in these key areas. Let's just say player A.
Yeah.
But you know what? If you take this amount of money, well, we can do this, and we can do that. It just seems like that is this group.
Yeah.
Because because Shea's young, J-Dub's young, Holmgren's young and missed his first year.
Yeah.
Hartenstein's middle of his career. Kason Wallace, Aaron Wiggins. All the Isaiah Joe, Lou Dort, who continues to give Ant as many problems on the perimeter as any player I've ever seen in the NBA.
Crazy.
I'm just telling you that one of them may stray.
Yeah.
But
probably.
they're like, if we keep this group together, bro,
yeah,
we're going to win 6 or 7 in a row at least.
Yeah, and they definitely will. And they still have draft picks, and they still have, parts that they can move, and the way that Sam Presti has set this team up down there in Oklahoma City, it's like it's a true juggernaut. It really is, and I think you're right.
They don't break a sweat, like Nordo said, until they have to.
100%. And I think if you watch this team from like a truly analytical standpoint, yes, offensively the ball's in Shea's hand a lot, which forces defense to collapse. That's whatever on the offensive end. But where I look is the defense end, and the way that they have second and third and fourth efforts and their perimeter rotations and their box out and like their X outs and all the little things that they do from a basketball schematic standpoint on the defensive side of the ball. It's truly next level, but it's an effort thing, right? And we don't see that a lot in the NBA.
Isaiah Joe is absolutely the perfect player to have on this team.
Yeah,
he's not going to steal the ball. He's not going to rebound. He's not going to pass. What's going to happen? He's going to be in the game at a key moment, and they're going to collapse on Shea, Chet, Jalen Williams, or whatever. And all they need him to do is go 5 of 7 from 3 and finish the game with 15, 16 points or whatever. That's all we need you to do.
Yeah.
What a perfect player for a team like that.
Yeah, and it's, I think about this. I know the NBA and sports in general is more global than it ever has been. But think about how insulating a market like Oklahoma City can be, where you get big city, bright lights, big personalities together, tons of revenue and conversations and media and all of that. While you're trying to hold this thing together, a big part of it is insulating that locker room and the connection points human-wise that a team develops over the course of time. You get to chill down there in the arena where it's friends and family night and grandma's there and somebody brought cookies and Cinnabon and all of this, and they just get to watch the best team in the NBA. The pressure on them certainly exists. The competitive element of it all exists. I totally get that.
And their coach is the bomb.
Their coach is awesome. And I just think there's an insulating element for the best team in the NBA to be down there in OKC versus, let's say, the Knicks trying to maintain that. Even out in LA, how difficult it is to manage the noise.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pizza parties and movie nights out in Oklahoma.
I think you could tell, too, from this team. You watch their post-game interviews. They've made the group interview notorious, right, where they're all there. The cameras rolled a little extra long on ESPN on I think Wednesday night or Tuesday night.
Wednesday,
and it just showed them hanging out and being humans. And like the camera was just like they're just boys. You know what I mean? And that's so unfamiliar in the NBA. I think you hit the nail on the head, Nordo. You go to New York, boom, we got dinner at Carbone. We got to get out of the arena the whole bit. Hey, we're going to Shea's house. He's giving us a Rolex. We're going to order some Little Caesars pizza. We're going to be all right. So.
Hey, now you as what are you 6'7"?
Yeah.
Okay, so you as a big man in Division I college basketball, you know the importance of big players who can pass.
Yeah.
Now, like Vlade Divac, one of the great passing big men in the history of the NBA.
Certainly.
Arvydas Sabonis, Domantas Sabonis. I mean, it goes on and on. But Finchie was on Wednesday morning, and we're talking about the OKC game. And he... I asked about Hartenstein and Holmgren and how they complement each other and do they play together a lot because that's long. But, he was talking about Hartenstein and he's like, he said it twice, very, very good passing big man.
Yeah.
Nordo and I follow this thing closely and I'm looking at every single box score every single day.
Yeah.
I had no idea Hartenstein was as good a passer as he is. Finch put me on it and put all of us listening on it. So I'm watching in the game. Wow, they set those back cuts up so nicely, and he throws them open. Isaiah Hartenstein throws players open. It's impressive.
Yeah, they do two things kind of on the offensive side of the ball. When you have the MVP, you got to put the ball in his hands, and you got to let him create offense for himself, offense for others. That's kind of your one. But then your two, especially when Shea is out of the game, is that continuous motion, that movement, that not getting the ball stuck on one side. We often talk, if you can get the ball from one side to the other side, and then even back to the other side, the defense has to move. In the NBA, you can't defensively be in the lane for 3 seconds, so there's different kind of rules that avoid kind of the penalties defensively. So the Thunder have really figured that out, and when you have a big man that can operate on the top of the key and pass the way he can, and Chet's an underrated passer as well, when you can set up offense for others, spooky.
Finch gave Dillingham 12 minutes at the point at OKC, and the game was not out of reason. So
played meaningful minutes.
Right, meaningful minutes. Good way to put it. He had no turnovers, which is key, and he hit a three. And I'm not a big fan of his three game, but I liked how he hit that three in the context of the offense. It wasn't some herky-jerky throw it up into the shot clock. I think it's an indicator Chris is looking for a true point guard to lead this team.
Yeah.
And I'm not, running down Dante DiVincenzo. Mike Conley is basketball immortality with his longevity, but beating people off the dribble just ain't the same as it was like when he played for Memphis or maybe for Utah.
Yeah.
But he gave Dillingham 12 minutes. And I just think it's, he's a true point guard, and he's fast, and he has live legs.
Yeah.
So do you see it that way?
Yeah, I do. I think, PA, that question kind of starts with, what do you have right now from your point guard position, right? So you use Julius Randle at the point forward a lot.
Yeah.
And then when that's not working, kind of like it was in Oklahoma City, now Anthony Edwards has the ball in his hands. And especially in the second half when it comes to crunch time, it's just notorious for the star to go get the ball in his hand.
Yeah.
You watch what Oklahoma City did. They just completely
collapse on Ant.
Every ball screen they doubled or
it's
they
ridiculous.
Switched. It was just a complete.
Yep. And it frustrates Ant.
100% it does. 100% it does.
Lou Dort bugs the bleep out of him.
Oh, yeah. And then you have Alex Caruso, and then you have Aaron Wiggins. So it's like, it doesn't matter what you're doing on the perimeter defensively. Anthony Edwards is going to have a good defender between him and the hoop. And he's not the passer that I think he can be in his career. So I think if you're Chris Finch, you're trying to figure that out, right? And yeah, you've lost 3 straight. You're searching for a lot of different things. But I do think that Rob Dillingham has potential. They have a chance to really get him in that offense, kind of getting that confidence. I think that's a big step as well. But I think you got to play him, and that 12 minutes starts there, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
So in lieu of making a trade, making a move for a point guard, because I just see that emanating on social quite a bit, where it's just like, go get this guy, go get that guy. And we've seen maybe a couple of insiders or reporters drumming up. I mean, Ja just doesn't like it in Memphis now that Taylor Jenkins isn't there, and Ja's a name that exists. But I'm not talking about Ja. In the meantime, you get 12 minutes out of Dillingham. That's cool. And meaningful minutes, as you said. But what are things potentially that this team can, with the group they have, operate potentially better offensively or in totality in lieu of having that answer at point?
Yeah, I know. I don't want to make this Oklahoma City, fan line here, but look what they do offensively, right? And Shea's their superstar. He's their point guard. He has his ball. His usage rate is probably the highest in the NBA. Maybe Nikola Jokic could rival that. But they really set up their offense. And I mentioned it earlier, they do some isolation stuff with Shea at the point guard, but they really play a team style of offense. And I think that's something where I believe Chris Finch is a really good coach. I think if you look at some of his ATO after timeouts type of stuff, he sets up really good plays. He's got some good pin down options. And they've got a couple shooters on the floor. They're not as good of a shooting team. I think the loss of Nickeil Alexander-Walker hurts them being able to make corner threes. So
and he's playing really well for the Hawks.
Yeah, he certainly is. He that's a tough loss. That's just the NBA, right? You just don't have the money to pay him. So to answer your question, Nordo, I think it's truly a team offensive type of style. It's getting the ball out of Julius and Ant's hand a little bit. Yes. I don't know if that's Rob Dillingham's hand or Dante DiVincenzo's hand, but let them kind of be the guy that takes the pin down screen or even sets the pin down screen and slips to the hoop. So I think there's a lot of things within the offense kind of side of a basketball game that can take place off the ball. You don't have to be the primary ball handler to go get 40 a game.
Terrence Shannon Jr., we saw this last year in the Western Conference Finals. They're getting killed, and Terrence Shannon Jr. comes into the game. He's not afraid. I called him a rolling ball of butcher knives.
Spark play.
I mean, he's dunking on Thunder in the Western Conference Finals. Yeah. Okay, same thing the other night. I think he had 18. I mean, he plays so well against those guys. Now he has to play well against everybody.
Yeah.
But Terrence Shannon Jr. has a chance to be a guy who plays 25, 30 some odd minutes a game for a team that's begging for a seventh man. I mean, Naz Reid's the sixth man. They're begging for a seventh man.
Yeah, and he defends too. Not Clark type of level, but Terrence really does defend at a high level. I played him at Illinois, and we had a point guard, Elijah Hawkins, probably about 5'10", being generous. One of
super fast,
quickest, shiftiest dude. Yep. And Terrence Shannon at 6'6", 6'7", just stood in front of him and moved his feet, horizontally. And I was like, "What is going? This is NBA level talent here."
Yeah.
And I think that exactly describes Terrence Shannon Jr. Now, can you continue to make shots? Can you continue to make threes? Can you find ways to impact the game besides just getting to the rim? That's defensively, that's energy he plays. Mm-hmm. I think they're really looking. Chris Finch and his staff are really looking at Terrence Shannon Jr. to take steps, and I think it's that. You're exactly right. That consistency over games, showing up every single day, doing the same stuff.
Julius is called 2 for 13 at OKC, 13 for 39 during the 3-game losing streak, 5 for 19 from 3.
Good thing I gave him strays of kindness the other day.
He can shoot threes.
Yeah.
They all can shoot threes. I mean, Gobert, if you leave him open in the corner, he's going to hit 1 of 4.
Yeah.
Okay. So they all can hit him. I'm just not and this goes back to a take from the Western Conference Finals. I just think they sucked the Wolves into. Go ahead.
Yeah.
If we're going to keep this high-end rebounder away from the basket, and if we're going to keep him away from free throw line extended in those passes, and that's what he wants to do, go ahead and do it.
Yep.
And they kind of got married to it, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily the case right now. I just prefer him closer to the basket than farther away.
Yeah.
But the point Julius bit is cool. But as a mixer, I like it as a mixer.
Totally.
I don't like it being identifiable as like this is the A topic with our offense to get everybody open because we're still trying to figure out who the point is. So hopefully they're able to beat Jaylen Brown's on a heater right now. Derek White's catching fire, and the Celtics team, down Jason Tatum. They ain't that great, but they're not that bad. They can make life difficult on you.
Yeah,
so that's tomorrow at Target Center. Bears at Philadelphia today. All 3 underdogs won yesterday.
Yeah.
Green Bay +3. Cowboys +3.5 or 4. Joey Burrow +6 or 6.5. All the dogs won. The underdog today is the Chicago Bears. What do you guys think of that game?
I think they get it done. I think, with the way Caleb Williams is playing right now, with the way they're running the ball, hopefully they continue to find Rome Odunze in some of those middle of the field type of situations. Their defense is playing at a high level right now. So it's going to be a tough game anytime you play in the former champs, but I love the way Chicago's playing, and I think they're top of the division right now, right? So they're fighting to stay there.
Right.
And they have everything to play for.
Yeah.
It's that belief factor which makes them dangerous. I also wonder what losing to the Cowboys the way that they did, staking that 3-touchdown lead
Good
and
point.
getting nipped at the wire by Jerry's squad.
Are they still stung?
Mm-hmm.
Are they still stung? And on a day after Thanksgiving, the ability for them still exists, I believe, to be as push button as it could potentially be in the NFL. Them and the Rams, I still look at those two teams in that regard. So I would be leaning on the Philly side, being stung, being frustrated, and finding their way back because they're still, from the injury-laden nature of the Bears' defense, I just think they're really overplaying. I mean, they're playing above their weight class to such a degree, which speaks to maybe good times ahead with Ben Johnson in charge. But do they have the true firepower to get that thing done? Don't turn it over at all. Find a Dunze deep a couple of times. They'll need big plays today to get by the Eagles. I think Philly's going to win this one. But the impressive part of these dogs over the last 24 hours you're talking about, it's undeniable. But I'm rooting for the Bears to just absolutely get hammered on today, and I hope Saquon just ruins their entire holiday.
Well, I mean, Philly's 8-3, and Dallas is 6-5-1. And the reason I bring it up is because if Chicago beats Philadelphia today, well, the NFC East all of a sudden is in question.
It's in play.
But here's the reason I bring it up, because Philly's been the absolute 1-5 cinch to win that division the entire season.
Totally.
Oh, by the way, a division where a team has not won back-to-back in a quarter century.
Yeah.
Really?
And they're trying to go back-to-back, and it looked like it was a dead cinch they were going to do it until they blew that lead at Big D. If they lose today, that thing all of a sudden is a little bit in question. Let's close like this. What is your stance involving the Minnesota Vikings? What is your stance on rooting against your favorite team, which would be the Minnesota Vikings, to lose all of their games? This is the we should come up with a Paul Charchian related name for it. Because Charch is the one, he's catching a stray here, but he's the one that we think of when I bring up something like this, where you're not going to go to the playoffs.
He's a pro tanker.
Yeah. So it's not, you might as well lose them all. It's like, no, he's like encouraging people to commit felonies.
Yeah.
You need to find a way to lose them all to secure your best draft picks all throughout the draft. So, What's your stance on losing all of them to secure the best draft picks possible? We currently have these picks from 4 and 7. 12, 43, 76, 97, 171, 206, 227, and 235.
Okay, I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm a NFL draft expert. I'm an NBA draft expert. That's my wheelhouse. So I would obviously assume you lose more games, you get a higher pick.
Right.
In the
NFL. It's just in theory is what we're asking for.
I sit here from a perspective of this is my team. I love to root for them. I don't know who's on the field. Now Max Brosmer's on the field, a guy that I would call a friend of mine. We've created a relationship. We're good pals. So I want to see him do well. I can't get myself there, PA. I can't get myself
either.
to that point.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can't either. You're in the locker room. You see these guys as humans. They're not just football players that are objects out there in the field for 3.5 hours for your entertainment. They're humans. You want to see them succeed. And we're so gracious to be able to host them and have them on the show and create relationships with them as humans. So I can't get myself to that point.
Just think about it. Like Kevin O'Connell's going to sit in the locker room before the game and he's going to, all right, guys. We need to stay healthy today.
Yeah.
But we need to lose this game.
Yeah.
Can you look ahead to the draft, gentlemen?
Yeah.
And
then somebody leaves in free agency and tells another team that a coach said that.
Yeah.
And then now all of a sudden you're Sean Payton and you're getting suspended for a year.
Can you tell the most competitive people,
right?
And pro athletes, different sports, they're all the same. Can you tell the most competitive people you've ever met in your entire life,
right,
to pull off the gas pedal?
Right.
That's just preposterous to me. Just tanking. I understand the results of losing,
dumb.
and frankly, given the state of the team, if you're a Vikings fan right now, this team could very well go out, attempt to win every game, and still find themselves with a top 10 draft pick. So
right.
The A topic for me is I want to see success from Max.
Yep.
And you just again with a weird season that's gone the wrong way, pieces of success, more and potentially momentum into 2026, non-playoff year as this is, momentum into the offseason that says, we got something here, boys.
Yep.
That's not just the QB, but across the roster, more Jalen Redmond-esque stories, and I'm looking for some to pop up maybe even this Sunday.
Thanks for stopping by. Best of luck to Taylor this evening with the Frost. Well, where can people watch or listen to that?
They're live on YouTube. Games are live on YouTube.
Okay.
So the Frost play at 3 o'clock Central Time against the Seattle Torrent. Sold-out arena, climate pledge, 20,000 people.
I appreciate you coming by, and we'll be watching, all right? Thank you,
guys.
P. Fox, Parker Fox, at Parker Fox 24 via X if you're so inclined. Thank you for stopping by, and we will say goodbye to the radio week after this. All right, Buffalo Wild Wings Mall of America. Thank you very much for coming out on Black Friday and taking in the Friday football feast. Likewise, for those of you who were at the Power Trip Morning Show in the Rotunda with the big, beautiful Christmas trees.
Did you see them lining the whole thing? Like every freaking floor.
Yeah.
No place to sit.
People thought I was joking the other day, Wednesday, when I'm like 7 to 9. And they will align. They'll be hanging off the rafters from all the floors because the Power Trip Morning Show does quite well with its performances, its on-site expectations, and what they deliver and stuff like that. And they're fantastic people. And generally good things happen to fantastic people like those guys. So they were there 7 to 9, 9 to noons here until a couple of minutes from now, followed maybe by Dan Cole, the common man in the program. Not exactly sure if he has the day off or not. And then we get to the Minnesota Wild at 2:30 today against the Avs.
Heat check.
Nordo's going to be in attendance for that one. Holy cow, is that a good game you're going to today?
Dude, what a weekend this is going to be. We're going to get to see the Heat check today.
Yep.
What if Max Brosmer goes for like 250 and 3 on Sunday, and
but in the middle you got the Axe, okay, and we college we're not the most elite college sports minds in the history of NCAA whatever, but we're pulling for PJ and those kids to get the Axe. Then at 3:05 FM 100.3 KFAN. It's the Vikings and the Seattle Seahawks. Most likely Max Brosmer taking on former Vikings quarterback Sam Darnold. That sounds good enough to eat. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you, Buffalo Wild Wings Mall of America, for Nordo. And Sam, my man, nice job, brother. Sam Engineering today. And for Devin Ward, back at the place he guides the great ship Love Covenant, I'm Paul Allen. Talk to you Sunday from the Cappuccino Capital. Vikings and Seahawks on KFAN. Have a great weekend. God bless all of you. Bye-bye.
Podcast today's Paul Allen Show, or listen back to previous show and interviews by going to the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.